What's good, everyone? Welcome back for another session. I want to switch away from the usual showcases on my channel and kind of bring back a discussion video I've put on the back burner for a little bit. I've wanted to talk about this for a while, but due to timing, conflicts or whatnot, I haven't had a chance to, but definitely did want to do it today. Now, there are a lot more than 5 units that I have in mind, as the title suggests, but just to kind of keep it concise, brief, and compact, I wanted to limit to just 5 units that really just call out for me. Like, on top of my head, these are the units I immediately think of in terms of supporting units that desperately need Extreme Z Awakenings. And a lot of these I thought would already happen by now, but it hasn't happened thus yet. So for those watching right now, feel free to comment each of the individual units and what you would like to see in terms of their potential builds or their skill set improvements based on a potential EZA coming up, whenever that time eventually comes. But I want to keep a lively discussion. I'm curious as to what you guys think, so certainly leave a comment as to what you would like to see in terms of improvements on the 5 fallen units. So I did kind of semi-rank them in terms of the units I would want the most to get an EZA, so we'll go in order, but a lot of these are centered around the Bardock units just because I feel like they would provide massive value with improvements. So we'll start off with the super physical type Super Saiyan Bardock unit. Now, I'll skip the leader skill and all that crap. Super attack causes supreme damage and seals SA, so obviously has the ability to seal enemy super attacks, which can be beneficial in certain events. Passive skill is, again, a supporting role function. Key +2, attack increase to 20% for all allies when HP is 30% or above. Now, I'm not going to go into detail as to what I would potentially want to see, but of course with this unit, I think a key +3 attack and defense increase to 30% for all allies when HP is 30% or above, and then tacked onto that some secondary passive skill sets I think would more or less be fine for this unit. I think at the end of the day, even with the support units, in today's meta of Dokkan Battle, I feel like they do need their own base attack and defense boost in order to be able to compete on some of the newer events. Because let's be real, like all 5 of these units that I'm about to cover, they are going to struggle even on Infinite Dragon Ball history. I think the most liability comes from the defense side. So just keep in mind, if they do eventually get their EZA, I hope they get some sort of, improvements to attack and defense stats to themselves. So hopefully they'll build that around, some of the units here. Alright, so at number 4, I have the Super Tech version of Super Saiyan Bardock. Now, this guy is great in terms of potential links or, passive support of orb changing for units like LR Goku or LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku, for example, or some of the other units that need, to acquire ki per rotation in order to, maximize damage through their 18 key super attack, or whatever the case is. But, this guy also does have the ability to seal enemy super attacks with the super attack ability, along with causing supreme damage. Of course, with the recent EZAs and whatnot, they kind of, really tack on additional stuff to it. So I really don't know what to expect in terms of what they would potentially give this guy. But from a passive skill standpoint, changes strength key spheres to tech key spheres and then attack increase of 40%. This is kind of where that, benefit, for example, to LR Goku comes in. The ability to, switch over key to tech types, but also the key link sets are pretty good, like the First Awaken and stuff like that. It's a very good link for units like LR Goku. It's a 25% increase to attack and defense, increase to 10% toward defense at level 10 links. So very beneficial to have. I think with this guy, again, some sort of attack and defense boost to himself, and then also along with the ability to change strength key spheres to attack, maybe I don't know, have another ability for converting a rainbow type key sphere to tech 2, maybe, I don't know, but attack 40% base, I mean, that's simply just not good enough for today's age of Dokkan Battle, considering it's not even like a full support where it's providing key attack or defense support to allies on the rotation. So there's certainly one to look out for, and hopefully they do make some improvements for this unit because it's quite good. It could be quite good. Alright, number 3, this is going to be the Super Strength type Super Saiyan 3 Golden Ape or Golden Giant Ape Goku unit from GT. Now, a lot of these units, I mean, I kind of miss the days of running these guys as support when they actually were like one of the best support units in the game. So just skipping everything, I mean, raises attack for 3 turns, that's kind of minimal. I mean, again, the biggest thing that hurts this guy is the defensive liability, but from a passive skill standpoint, all allies attack increase to 33%. Turns into giant ape when conditions are met. I think really this is still great, and considering like the passive boost to allies attack, in addition to the link set, for example, like the Super Saiyan 3 units or even Super Saiyan 4, you know, it's beneficial to have because, you know, Saiyan Roar is attack increase of 25% and defense increase of 10% at level 10, and on top of that, having an attack boost of 33% of allies on rotation, I mean, it's going to make quite a bit of a difference. You know, I'd like to use this guy a lot more on certain teams, but because of, again, the defensive liability, and it seems to be a highlighted case for a lot of these older support type units, is they just simply can't keep up on a defensive standpoint. They just take too much in damage to where it's not even worth the extra boost they provide in their passes. So again, some sort of improvement along with the 33%, maybe just simply make it 35% attack and defense or something like that, and, you know, some other parameters built in. But I think, you know, there's really not a whole lot you need to do for this, and I think it'll be fine with, you know, a standard like slight improvement should be fine. Number 2, this is a unit that I really used to love running a lot, and you know, he was one of my key like support units that I would bring on showcases and stuff like that, because at the time, 35% toward attack and defense for all allies unconditionally, and given the fact that he's a Super Saiyan unit, was very, very beneficial back then. And, you know, it's just kind of unfortunate this guy really disappeared. Like I don't really run this guy anymore at all, and it'd be great to be able to run him because, you know, 35% of the time was immense. You know, it was a big difference. I think from an improvement through EZA standpoint, just, you know, tack on like a key boost along with I'm even fine with keeping this at 35% for attack and defense. Just tack on some secondary skill sets to make this guy a little bit more competable in events and stuff like that, and I think it would be fine. You know, personally, they could mimic the Movie Heroes Gohan that, you know, provides that 40% to Movie Hero category units, and also has like a further boost to attack or defense of 100%. I can't remember exactly, but a similar build for that for this guy I think would be more than good enough. I mean, the link sets are great. You know, pretty much your standard Super Saiyan unit link skill set. Categories are, you know, still pretty good as well. So, you know, he just needs an improvement. That's really what it comes down to. So I'm looking very forward to that eventually happening. Now at number 1, this is a unit that I have been waiting a very, very long time for an Extreme Z Awakening, and it hasn't happened yet. I personally thought all the Bardock units would get an EZA during the Saiyan Day celebration last year when the Transforming Bardock came out, but unfortunately it didn't, and it's just unfortunate because I would really love to run these units on some other different, you know, newer setups, but I simply can't. Because I can, but, you know, it would have to be on, you know, the early stages of Infinite Dragon Ball history or even Boss Rush. You know, otherwise, from a showcase standpoint, these guys are going to be taking way too much damage to where it's not even worth putting them on, even though they're, you know, link sets and passes are great. Like this guy has a 30% attack boost for all allies when HP is 30% or above. And at the time, it was pretty ridiculous because, you know, 30% attack along with having fierce battles, stuff like Saiyan Pride, you know, stuff like that. I mean, it was not as common back then. So it really did make for a viable option from a support standpoint. And again, like these link sets benefit, you know, certain types of units, and, you know, it would make their showcases a lot better if I could simply run them again. Again, this guy's just too much of a defensive liability, as you can see. You know, supreme damage enemy raises attack for 6 turns. Attack increases 30% for allies when HP is 30% or above. So you see no indication of any sort of, you know, defensive stat improvements. And at the time, back then in Dokkan, defense wasn't as pivotal as it is now, in terms of like the adjustments they had to make over time in terms of, you know, making it a little bit more difficult. And, you know, now we have units that boost their own defense and stack defense and what have you. So it's a different format than it used to be. But yeah, I mean, I personally love this card a lot. It's just, I've been waiting for an eternity for this guy to get the EZA, and I don't know why it hasn't happened yet, but this is one that I'm looking forward to the most in terms of a potential EZA from a support unit standpoint. Again, I really did condense this down to 5 units because I wanted to be a little bit more precise in my narrative in terms of what I talk about. So, of course, I have plenty of others in mind, and for those that have, other ideas and other units you have in mind in terms of what you'd want to see from a support unit standpoint in terms of getting a Extreme Z Awakening, certainly let me know in the comments, and maybe we can have a part 2 discussion or whatever based on your feedback. So at this point in time, these are the 5 support units that I think personally desperately need EZAs and just brought back into relevance. I think it'd be great for the game for these guys to just come back to light a little bit. So that's pretty much my summarized commentary for what I think. If you agree or disagree, if you have any other thoughts, feedback, certainly leave it in the comment section, and let's have a conversation about it. All right, with that being said, I'll go ahead and close out here. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.